Well, greetings everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's special event at the Splashtastic Circuit. Just going to take you for a quick tour around the track now before we get into the race proper. So the marbles roll down this hill, all the way down before making a right-hand turn and going up the ramp here. And then from this ramp we go to the first ladder of the track, quite a big one, leading us into the red section. Our red section splits into two, almost identical in the way that they look, and then they will come down, drop down here, and then continue on through until they get over to here where the first real spinner comes into play. These spinners tend to hold up the contestants and just break up the field a little bit, and then they divide them into two sides. We have a ladder here and a ladder here that will then take them into the green section and just split up the field a little bit and cause a little bit of chaos. At the top of these ladders, both tracks will come together here, and then you will actually have a little corkscrew as they go down into this section here, a little loop-the-loop, and further down. And then the green section will continue on, another little corkscrew here before we go into this ladder over here. And then as the contestants come over this ladder, they will then come down in this blue section and then be flung up into the top of the blue section here, which then drops down if they're lucky. There are 4 opportunities to drop down into the next part of the course. If they miss this, they end up having to go down this corkscrew here, which takes them to the same part of the track, but it takes much longer for them to get there. The contestants will be looking to drop down here. The unfortunates that have to do the corkscrew go the long way. Then the contestants will go through this little nail section, a little spinner down here just to slow them up a little bit before hitting this anti-gravity well down at the very bottom. And once they hit this anti-gravity well, they will be flung up into the orange section. So the anti-gravity well will bring them up to here, they will drop back down again, and then a few spinners take them into the next part of the course. I'll move through the little tubing here into the pink section. The pink section winds its way around until we get to the biggest ladder of the course, commonly referred to as the ladder to heaven because these guys are on it for ages. On reaching the top of the ladder, they will go into the purple section and into this section over here. As they come down, they will split off into 2 different sections before coming back together through here. We have another loop-to-loop, and then we have a minor little corkscrew into the next section. Once more, the competitors have the opportunity to drop down into the ring of fire down here. If they miss their drop zone, once again, there is a long way down, another corkscrew into the same section, but once again, it will take them a lot longer to get there. So if the competitors are successful to drop down, they'll come down the ring of fire, down this way, and into the next anti-gravity well. If they're unlucky, they'll go around this corkscrew and just come out here, but it will take a lot longer to get there. The anti-gravity well will then bring them into the yellow section. As they wind their way around, we have a few little splits here, more splits here as they go around. And then as they come into this little housing thing there, they will actually come across a portal. So inside that little house, we have our portal and we have a spinner there just to slow the competitors up a little bit. So once they go through the portal here, they will be thrown to the next part of the course. Portal will bring them out here, and then they will make their way down through this section here, eventually coming down to the bottom here and through this portal. This is the portal where they will come out then, and they'll continue along the yellow section until they go down into this dish here before dropping down and then going to this ladder here before coming out to here. Once more, an anti-gravity well will bring them up through this tubing and out and into the checkered part of the course, which is the penultimate part of the course. They will wind their way down through into this dish here, and they come through the checkered area. There is a spinner just here which can cause a lot of problems for competitors, and then they will come up through here, a few speed boosts to get them up the ramp, and then we get back to our start-finish line. So welcome to the start-finish line for this great race. There's a great air of expectation around the whole place here as the crowd have moved in. There's plenty of people here waiting to see who will be victorious in this great race. Okay, so we are currently looking at the left-hand side of the track as we face it, and you can see Jack Doff is going to lead us out from that side of the track. Not a huge advantage for this course because there are a lot of swings and roundabouts to happen before they get to the end of this race. Other people to note here, we have my World of Warcraft character, or one of them, Hot Dog Nipples there in the front row in the pink. And then in the second row, we have the Nigerian Prince email scammer. And not too far away from him, also in the second row, is the streamer Asmongold. And there's a great air of expectation as to what we can expect from him today. Then we have our celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay in the third row. And then we can also see Lelujo just floating up the back there. Another one of my favourite streamers who does a lot of Football Manager content, and it's actually very enjoyable to watch. And we're looking at the back end of the left-hand side of the grid there, and there's the man himself, Dick Splash, there in the starry sort of marble there. And right next to him, another streamer that I enjoy very much is a man called Colonel Failure. I got into him through a game called Transport Fever, but he does other content as well. I highly recommend his stuff, and very good for a bit of a laugh. And now we're looking at the right-hand side of the grid there. And for those of you that are fans of Spiff, you'll notice that the 100 stat man himself, Riano Keeves, is in the second row of the grid there, looking good. Other names to note there, especially in the second row, we also have Shake Your Beauty.
That was 6 lamb burgers, 4 shish kebabs, a side order of couscous, and 2 milk. No.
So looking a bit further afield there, we can actually see the Civilization 6 streamer there, Potato McWhiskey, loitering about towards the back of the grid there, but still well in with the show there, will not affect his overall placing. And then we have the Ginger God himself, Mr. Rick Astley. Had to be done, guys, but I promise I won't do it again. So now we're looking at the back end of the right-hand side of the grid, and we are zooming in now to the last few characters there. As you can see, there's the man himself, the Spiffing Brit, up the back there, but don't count him out. He's always in there for a good show. And then also we have the man that cannot be named on YouTube.
His name is Fahak, but spelled with a PH, so it sounds like Fahak.
So it's Fahak.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So we had Gordon Ramsay on the other side earlier on, and he's actually been joined in the field by Uncle Roger. And Uncle Roger's nemesis, Jamie Oliver, is also in the field. Now, obviously I've skipped him accidentally. I never meant to leave out anybody, but of course if I introduced everybody, we'd be going all day. So I apologise for that, but we're almost ready now to get started in this special race. So obviously there's plenty of names that I didn't actually address. These are names that probably appear in our very politically incorrect Football Manager database, and they're also different alts that certain streamers have used. Like for instance, we mentioned Riano Keeves earlier. There are a few others of Spiff's creation there, and a few others of Colonel Failure's creation as well. Just sit back and relax, and we are just about to kick off. But before we do, we just want to throw a quick shout out to our sponsor for this event, the Come Den Bar and Restaurant. Thanks so much for your support, guys, and long may it continue. So just waiting on the starter now. We're nearly green. And they're off and racing. Off we go. So the competitors are going to go down this first ramp, and there's another ramp on the other side until it brings them up to their first ladder. So Riano Keeves has made a good start early, but it looks like Joe King and Paige Turner are the top two at the moment. Now as the competitors continue down the opening ramp, they're soon going to be flung up another ramp using speed boosters, and this is probably one of the most volatile parts of the course, through the loop-de-loop there. Now we go with Joe King, but it looks like Oliver Handy's got the lead at the moment. But this is the most volatile part of the course, well, one of them at least. As they hit the ladder, they will be hitting it at speed, so this will be where the first real shake-up of the competition happens. So as we look at the replay here, we'll see that the boy that can't be named hits the ladder very hard, but is flung backwards and flying back out of the screen there. But notice how Riano Keeves has actually made the ladder first, so congratulations to him as the rest of them come in. So as we look at the super close replay there, Riano Keeves is already on there. He's done very well to get on there straight away. We've got Slobtastic in there, and there's the boy that can't be named flying through the air there. But as you can see, it's a mad woman's breakfast there at the moment. There's Dick Splash they're going through as well. So we're back live now, and we can see that the rest of the competitors are coming into this opening ladder there. And as we reach the top, Riano Keeves is the first competitor to go into the red section. And there's Dick Splash, number 6 there at the moment. But again, they will get jumbled up as they go down through the major section down here and get thrust back into the red. So as we can see, Oliver Handy's actually taken the lead back from Riano Keeves. Hasn't been updated on our checklist yet, but that is definitely the case at the moment. That should change shortly as he goes under the bar here. So it's Oliver Handy as he continues on through the red section. Again, there's a spinner that's coming up very soon where they can be held up if they're not careful. And once more, it's just a way of shuffling up the field a little bit and can actually cause a few problems for the competitors. So Handy just coming up to that spinner now. And he has actually been held up there. We can see Riano Keeves coming through, and he's also been held up. Handy through. Seymour Clavage has actually made it up to third there at the moment, and then Handy's actually through. Has a slight stumble on the wall there. As you can see, there's a split here as well, and two different ladders for the competitors to ascend. Riano Keeves is clearly in front with Rema Mandeep second there, but on the right hand side you can actually see Oliver Handy there in third spot, I would assume, and Seymour Clavage fourth and Slobtastic at fifth. That seems to be our on-field top 5 at this point in time. So as the competitors prepare for the green section, it is Riano Keeves that leads us in. And it really does depend who gets the run through here. Riano Keeves going in, but he looks like he's gone on to Oliver Handy's side. And because of that, Rema Mandeep has actually made a great little run there, and he's the first to hit the curves in the green section. As the competitors will continue down here, Rema Mandeep with the advantage there. Riano Keeves right on his clacker though, and then you have Oliver Handy in third spots. So we continue on following Rema Mandeep and Riano Keeves down, and they are neck and neck at this point of the race. Just looking at the standings behind them, Oliver Handy in third, Seymour Clavage is fourth, Slobtastic rounds out the top 5 there at the moment. And we're just following Seymour Clavage down there, who's right behind Oliver Handy, and there's Slobtastic, our 5th place holder at the moment. And great news, everybody, the Spiffing Brit is actually 20th at the moment there, and we can see Asmongold, the other streamer there, is in 17th at the moment. Now, we've just flicked back a little bit further, and there's the Spiffing Brit there, and he's got the big stream happening after him, so we can actually see him very, very clearly. Colonel Failure not too far behind him. In fact, he's actually just jumped in front of him. The Spiff has actually hit the wall pretty badly there, and it's just slowed him up a bit. And we can see our front runners there, very, very tight there. We've got 4 of them on the top ladder there. So Rema Mandeep, Riano Keeves, Joe King's actually gone into the top area there. So she's obviously hit that very, very well. So we wait for them to come into the blue section. Now this blue section, again, they're going to get thrown around the corner and then flung up a ramp with a lot of speed boosts. Now there are some drop holes down into the bottom part of the blue part, but if they miss those and they skip them, then they have to do a long corkscrew down, and it'll actually shake up the field even more. So we're just preparing now for the leaders to come over the top. We have Riano Keeves just taking the lead there from Rema Mandeep, Oliver Handy third, and Joe King fourth. Seymour Clavage is still in 5th spot, although that may change once they get over the rise. So going into the speed boost here now, Riano Keeves going through quite well. He's hit the wall there, and he is flying up there now, hits it once again. It's really going to be the first people that actually drop down the hole. Now, it looks to me like Joe King went down, although Riano Keeves has dropped down as well. But yes, Joe King is now in the lead, but has been held up slightly with the marble, which has allowed Oliver Handy to come right up behind her. As they continue down now, there is a spinner here where they could get caught up. Joe King's actually hit the wall there, so we'll just see how they go through this spinner. And then after that spinner, there's the first of many anti-gravity wells, which will actually suck them up into the next section of the course. So just preparing now for Joe King and Oliver Handy to hit that point in the race. and up they go. So Joe King, up she goes, and into the orange section, and first to actually hit that area. This is actually quite a bigger section here. You'll notice how wide this section is. There's a couple of spinners actually here as well. She's going to slam smack bang in the middle of it, as is Oliver Handy. Rihanna Keebs is coming in third spot at the moment. He's been caught up as well, and it looks like Oliver Handy's actually gone through first out of the spinner. Herb Beaverstink's doing quite well there, although he just seemed to get held up right at the end there. So it is Oliver Handy who has regained the lead again, with Joe King in second spot there. They're going to go through the inner tube here just for a little while. It looks like Herb is actually in the third spot there. Rihanna Keeps has dropped down to fourth, and then celebrity chef Jamie Oliver rounds out our top five there. So in this big section, they will come to the biggest ladder in the course, often referred to as the ladder to heaven because it actually goes for so long. So they are just about heading into that section now. Rihanna Keeps still in third spot there, trying very hard to get hold of the 2 leaders at the moment as they come in almost together. In fact, it looks like Joe King's got the better of the run there, and she's actually going to go into first spot there. So we're currently looking at our front runners of this race, with Joe King and Oliver Handy sharing the same rung of this very huge ladder. We have a bit of a gap between them and the next competitors, Jamie Oliver, Squidward, Rihanna Keeps and Herb Beaverstinks there. Now a few other competitors coming in there. Good to see Lord Harry Dixon Balls in there, Seymour Clavage as well, and one of our streamers there, Colonel Failure, doing well as well. So looking at more competitors coming into the giant ladder at the moment there, we have Regis Queefer there, just down the bottom there. Hugh Jones, there's the spiffing Brett down there. Well done, sir. And we also have Rick Astley close by him. So looking at the back runners, there's Dick Splash, really struggling to repeat his effort in Spiff's race himself. He'll be very disappointed to be one of the back runners there. Eaton Beaver coming in there, as well as Barry Turnips, who is one of Colonel Failure's alternative names. And now we can see the complete field almost stretched over this huge ladder. So looking at the top 20 there, our usual suspects are in the lead there. Joe King, Oliver Handy, Rihanna Keeps doing well, Herb Beaverstink's doing well, Squidward in the top 5 as well. Jamie Oliver, our celebrity chef, is loitering in 7th spot there. Seymour Clavage has actually dropped down to 9th, remembering that he was actually as high as 4th at one point. Colonel Failure there in 14th position there, doing quite well. And we can also see the other football manager streamer that I watch on occasion, Zealand, in 18th spot there. BJ Swallows in 19th, and Paige Turner rounding out the top 20 there. And here you can see, ladies and gentlemen, you have the whole field pretty well stretched out over this huge ladder at the moment. There's a lot of distance between the front and the back runners of this race, and as you can see, competitors such as Ken Oath, Lelujo and Potato McWhiskey, who's right down in the back there, will have a lot to do there. So we're just waiting now, and there's Oliver Handy and Joe King coming up the gravity well together. It looks like Oliver Handy got the best run out of the gravity well, and Joe King just a little bit slow there, but we got another split coming up here, and it really does depend on how well they go through that section. Oliver Handy held up slightly there, so Joe King right on his back there, so they're clearly first and second. Herb Beaverstinks looks like he's leapt over Rihanna Keeps, but again, oh yep, they've got on different sides there. Squidward rounding out the top 5 there. Rihanna Keeps has got further to go, and Herb Beaverstinks is sort of moving along slowly. Jamie Oliver behind Rihanna Keeps there as well. So Oliver Handy coming through this section now. This is really crucial now. He's dropped down, so he'll be very... Oh, that's Joe King we're watching, sorry. My apologies there. So Joe King looking for the hole through the ring of fire and into the next section of the course. It appears that she's going to go through first. Now, we don't know where Oliver Handy is at the moment on the course. I am concerned that he's actually had to go down the corkscrew because he seems to be dropping places there. There's Rihanna Keeps in 2nd spot right now, and Joe King is preparing to go to yet another gravity well. Herb Beaverstinks is 3rd at the moment as they prepare to go up the gravity well. So this is actually the largest gravity well on the course, and will lead us into the yellow section. There's Joe King coming up clearly first there, doing well. Rihanna Keeves is in second spot there. Herb Beaverstinks is in third. And then Robin Banks has actually come from nowhere into fourth spot. Who else we got there? Lord Harry Dixon Balls is up to fifth there. Well done. And there we go, Joe King clearly in the lead there with Rihanna Keeves in second spot at the moment. There is still places to be shaken up here, guys, so we don't have a winner yet. There's still plenty of doubt in our minds as to who's actually going to get the result. As you can see, we have a spinner here, which has actually done well for Rihanna Keeves. It's held up Joe King and let him go through. There's another split happening there. Herb Beaverstinks has gone into the second spot there as well, so congratulations to him. Okay, so now we're looking at Joe King, but she's actually fallen a fair way behind there. Milo Drinker right on her hammer at the moment, as the two sides of the coin will actually come together once more. So looking back on the field now, it looks like Herb Beaverstinks is clearly in first place at the moment, with Rihanna Keeves in second spot. Looking like Joe King and Milo Drinker coming up there. Joe King in third spot, Milo Drinker in fourth. Robin Banks is in fifth spot at the moment, Squid with sixth, Shaft Handler seventh. And Jamie Oliver's dropped down to 11th. He was actually right up there for quite a while there. I'm looking for any other names of note there. Now, in a moment, they're actually going to come into a little portal. Now, that portal is going to take them to that section on the left-hand side that you can see, but you're only seeing the bottom part of that. So, as Herb Beaverstinks goes through, we're following Joe King, Rihanna Keeves and Milo Drinker. The top four at the moment as they go through. There's a bit of a smoke haze through the tunnel, and then Herb Beaverstinks will materialise over the other side. He's been caught up though in the spinner just inside the tunnel, and so this may lead to, oh yep, Joe King and Rihanna Keeves have actually got a better run through there. And looking from the top of the new section, we can see Joe King has actually got a run through, as has Rihanna Keeves, and Herb Beaverstinks into third now. Joe King's gone all the way up, so Rihanna Keeves might have the better run. And there's Jamie Oliver. He's actually made a big comeback there. But again, we have some more spinners here to play around with the order of the proceedings here. But Jamie Oliver has got the best run through that whole section, and he's actually gone clear. Joe King being held up once more, Herb Beaverstinks as well. But Jamie Oliver's actually been the big winner out of that little procedure there. He's caught up now in the latest of the spinners though, so we may see more changes just yet. And as we wait for Jamie to come through, there he is, the first one through the portal. As he continues on, let's see who we have next. Looks like Rihanna Keeves is coming down there, and we should see him. There he is. So Rihanna Keeves in the second spot there. Herb Beaverstinks is coming through as well, and looks like Joe King's dropped down to fourth there at the moment as she's preparing to come through. And it looks like we might have a new top five member in Shaft Handler coming through there as well. So we're following Jamie again as he goes through the next part of the yellow section into the Big Dipper and down the hill into the next drop spot. This one's not too bad usually. You usually get a pretty good run through here. There's Rihanna Keeves coming in second spot there, but it's still all Jamie Oliver at the moment as we continue to follow him down the course. And we come down to yet another spinner, which has actually shaken things up a little bit. Jamie Oliver gets through there quite well, but the 100 stat man, Rihanna Keeves, I think he's going to get the best run onto the ladder. Yes, he has. Well done, Rihanna Keeves. So as we look back to the field, there was Joe King going through in third spot there. Herb Beaverstinks fourth, and there's Shaft Handler, number 5 at the moment. Milo Drinker 6th. Okay, we've got, who's that? Number 7, Mike Crotchburns is coming quite well. And there's Amin Yashed as well. Robin Banks is coming through there in 9th spot there. And then we're going to have either Squidward or Wayne King in 10th spot there. We've got a few different names there we haven't read before. Very good to see. And as the leaders reach the top of the last ladder, it's still anybody's race. Rihanna Keeves just about to go over in first spot there. Jamie Oliver hot on his heels there in second. We're coming up to another anti-gravity well, and we'll see what happens there as Rihanna Keeves prepares to go up. And there he is, the 100 stat man himself, first through the last anti-gravity well as we come into the last section of the race. Jamie Oliver gets the better run out of that area though, so we're looking at Rihanna Keeves, but Jamie Oliver's in front of him at the moment. So it looks like Jamie Oliver is going to lead us into the final drop of the game. So Rihanna Keeves is trying to catch up with him there, but it is Jamie Oliver to go into the bowl first. Rihanna keeps still second as they do a little corkscrew before they go into the big purple bowl. That's going to lead us down into the last real stretch of the race. We have one more spinner to actually negotiate. And then once that's done, they go up the hill and then they cross the finish line. So we're looking at Jamie Oliver at the moment as he drops down into that area. Here is the spinner that we were talking about just before. And Jamie has timed his run. Oh no, he's just been held up there. There is no sign of, there's Rihanna Coops, but he's been held up worse. So it looks like Jamie Oliver is going to get there for us. So as he prepares to go up the final hill, just up that ramp with a few of the speed boosts, and then he will actually be crossing the finish line. So Jamie Oliver is in front as we look at the start-finish line, and there he is, the winner for today's race, Jamie Oliver. Congratulations. And then Joe Kings managed to get in the second spot, and then Shaft Handler third. The 100 stat man will be very, very disappointed, getting caught up on that last spinner. Cost him the race there, so he's actually dropped down to fourth spot there. You can see Milo Drinkers actually finished in fifth. I'm in your shed, sixth. And it appears that, so we're following Robin Banks at the moment. Beaver Stinks has actually finished seventh. He'll be a little bit disappointed because he was right up there. In fact, he was in the lead there at one point. Just seeing the other competitors come over the line now. We're following Mike Rochburns as he goes up, and he's going to finish 10th in the race. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a race there. Jamie Oliver coming from nowhere. He was not in the running early on, and then we saw him come up to about fourth spot, and then the 11th. And we're watching now the Spiffing Brit and Lord Harry Dixon balls coming over the line together. It will depend on the run that they get, and it looks like the Spiffing Brits actually got him there. So Smith is actually going to finish in 17th spot, I believe. Yes, and Lord Harry Dixon balls right on his hammer in 18th spot. So Smith should be very proud of that event. That was not a bad result at all, considering that there were 72 competitors in this race. So watching a few of the other competitors come through, there's Georgie the Corgi flying through there very quickly. Colonel Failure as well. Zealand and Sirius Boner coming through nearly together there. Dougie Fleaballs has also come through there, as well as Harry Min's Crumpet. And here's the man himself, Dick Splash, will be very disappointed with his efforts after his efforts in Spiff's own race. So just waiting for our back markers to come in now. They'll be very disappointed with today's proceedings, but at least they had a good crack at it. And who knows, if we ever do this again, maybe they'll have a chance. There we have Lulujo and Potato McWhiskey, the streamers coming through, and there's Regis Queefer there. The final standings for the race. We can see Ray Gunn up there, has not been able to finish in the time frame. So although he's coming over the line, he will not be credited with a place. So Jamie Oliver has taken the win. Congratulations to him.
Uncle Roger, respect your hustle, Jamie. Woo! Yeah!
So thanks for watching today. Thank you for your support, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed putting it all together for you. I'm actually looking at doing a season of these, maybe 10 races, where I use many of the same names that I've used today. Obviously, I probably won't use the streamers again, not because I don't want to, but again, I'm doing things here and I don't want anything that I might do that they don't agree with being associated with them. So I thank them for all their content, and I really appreciate the fact that they've actually done a lot for me in the last couple of years, especially during lockdown. So thank you to them again. And if you'd like to have one of your names put in the game and be part of the race, then I'm more than happy to oblige. So just whack it in the comments and I will put it in as soon as I can and get everything up and running. So thanks once again, everyone. See you later.